Good evening and welcome to tonight's first ever Johnson After Show after the double premiere of Bounce's new series. I have with me Derrex Brady, Philip Smithey, Deji LaRay, Thomas Q. Jones, and Cedric The Entertainer.
Hey.
Double
Yes.
premiere
Run
down.
that back.
Yes. All right, Deji, let's talk about how this project came about. I hear this has been years in the making.
I just felt like it was time,
Yeah.
and I think it was an opportunity to show us in a light that was more common, everyday black men who are hardworking, who are vulnerable, and who are trying to be great.
Let's talk about showing that black men are not a monolith because everyone is different on this show. How important was it for you to have that shown?
Very important. I mean, that's the symbolism of the show, right? I think the misconception from society is that we are, for the most part, a lot the same. We think alike. We have the same perspectives and ideas, but it couldn't be further from the truth. We think differently when it comes to relationships and politics and religion, but we still have this common bond of us having this black male experience.
One thing that was unique about this is you shot it in Atlanta, but you shot it during COVID. Now, Thomas, I know Atlanta was open the whole time because we ain't never shut down. But what was it like filming amid COVID? Did you have any hangups with that?
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Nerve-wracking because every day potentially you could be shut down.
Yeah.
And fortunately for us, we had an incredible cast, incredible crew that was dedicated to the show, believed in the show, were excited about it. And even Bounce was super supportive. Our production team from Bird and the Bear Midnight Train, we just were very, very in tune and in unison. But, we had a couple of, scary situations here or there. But, because we all stuck together, we were all disciplined enough to understand what we were creating. It gave us an opportunity to get through COVID, and we did. And now we're ready to be on the air.
Now, Mr. Cedric The Entertainer, you are EP on this. Talk to me about believing in the show and what drew you to this project.
Yeah, I think, very early on, Risha Archibald, who also works for our production company, Bird and the Bear, with me along with my partner, Eric Rohn, we were just looking for projects. And, one thing, we met Thomas and Deji, and, of course, the material rang true. We're not a monolith. We're two different kind of guys. We're a bird and a bear. It's one fly, one on the ground. And so seeing the real, that they had already shot some stuff, and you saw like the texture. You saw not only the writing was strong, but his production skills. What the story they wanted to tell, and so we immediately got behind it, and just so happened to be in talks with David Hudson at Bounce at the time. Just about other projects, and this was one. Again, him being a black man as well, I think saw it instantly and was like, "Oh, this is it." And so this was really one of those kind of serendipitous moments. I think that's what I really, really liked about that, because our energy was really unique when we met. It was really fast. I believed in them. You knew you can kind of trust that they weren't just guys out here like, man, I need to blow up. Shit, what the hell? To blow, man. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Right, that's how it works out.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, let's talk about you, Mr. Jarvis on the show.
Hey.
What drew you to Johnson?
First of all, I knew Deji, and I just respected him as an actor, just of his craft. We worked on a project together. We were doing this thing for HBO, and Deji is so interesting though, because he's very low key, right? And so one day he was just like, "Hey, I got something for you to read, man. You might want to take a look at it."
Just casual.
I was like, "Okay," and then I read it, and like 3 days later, I hit him back. I was like, "Yo, I think this is really great. I love what the story's about. I love what they're talking about. I love what they're balancing, what they're working through. I love the brotherhood." And he was like, "Yeah, I think there's a character in there for you." And then from there, it's all she wrote. So
there you go.
I just love the whole project. I love, like I said, the brotherhood of it.
Yeah.
You don't always get to see that. We're not always portrayed like that.
For sure.
That we really confide in each other as well as laugh with each other, and hold each other accountable. And I thought that was amazing.
And what about you, Philip? What drew you to Johnson?
Well, I also knew Deji from before, and truthfully, I was one of those actors who was just very hungry. If he called me and is like, "Hey, I want you to be included," I'd be like, "Really?" Really, me? Thanks. No, but I like. So I read the script and man, I fell in love right away with the relationship. So I really I jumped on it right away, and I knew that I had to put my all into something like this because, if I didn't, then I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't get an opportunity like this again.
So let me just say, like with all of these guys, I think what's special about them is they recognize that when you network, you got to network across.
Across the
You know what I'm
board.
saying?
Say
You
that.
can't always network up.
Yep.
You know, and look for the person who's going to pull you up. It's like who in my peer circle is doing something right now that I can help them, be an asset to them, and vice versa. And they all believed in the project and they believed in me. You know, we shot something a few years back. They didn't get paid for it, you know what I'm saying? They didn't ask for no money, you know? And I think too often that's what gets lost is just that commitment and that support, you know, even when there's not a dollar involved, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, now it's paid off.
Now, Deji, you are Greg on this show, but you're also behind the scenes creator, showrunner. I mean, how grueling was it to go back and forth between going behind the scenes and playing this character full time?
Well, the crazy part about it is I actually do that a lot, you know, having a production company and producing projects and starring in projects, acting and, you know, writing projects. And so this was an opportunity, I think, to really flex all of those muscles. It really just came naturally, you know, but at the same time, I recognize the importance of having a very strong team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do everything by yourself. And I don't want to do everything by myself. As a matter of fact, I want to move forward taking some of those hats off and giving other people opportunities to, you know, to stretch themselves creatively and give them an opportunity the same way that Cedric and Eric did for us. You know, I think that's the whole idea behind this is to always pay it forward and give back, you know. And I had a great partner in terms of show running with Thomas Q. Jones over here, man, who
Mr. Thomas Q.
was
Jones.
very detailed. Yeah.
I would like to volley that question to you as well. Now, what is it like, Mr. Behind the Scenes, but also on camera? I imagine that's a lot of work.
It definitely is a lot of work. And for me, honestly, coming from 12 years in the NFL, I had no idea that I would be in this industry. And I met Deji about 4 years ago, and we immediately clicked. First time I heard about the project, I was 100% down. I understood the story. It was my life. Because, you know, getting out of the NFL, I didn't have a new family. And they were my new family. And so we embraced each other. And this story, you know, allowed us to connect, not only just on camera, but off camera. And it gave me a new family. In regards to actually producing and acting, I'm a very hands-on person. Deji's a very hands-on person. We're very much alike. And it's also an example of how, you know, us as black men, you know, when we come together, how powerful we are. We even hired a lot of black men behind the scenes, you know, PAs, sound, you know, just across the set because we wanted to be an example of us being able to kind of pay it forward to the younger generation of talent, you know, to come up and say, this is how you do it. You pull each other up, you give each other opportunities. And I think that's a part of the reason why the show came out so well is because the energy that was kind of generated with that mindset helped us produce what we produced with Johnson.
And it starts at the top. I just want to say real quick, because man, like watching you guys work and how hard you work and how dedicated you were was what inspired us to just give 100%, like every single day, like no days off because coming, like watching this athlete just come at it full steam every day. I mean, I was working because of you guys. Thank you.
The cast chemistry is there.
It was a trip though because I would even ask Deji and Thomas. I'd be like, "Did you guys sleep?" Because after we were done filming, they literally would go look at dailies,
Wow.
and then sometimes hit us up and go, "Hey, you guys want to read these lines for tomorrow?" And then I'm like, "When are y'all sleeping?" Because I'm tired.
Right.
But it made everybody like give 100% and be all chips in.
Let's talk about expectations for Johnson on Bounce. Mr. Cedric The Entertainer, what do you hope people get out of this project? What do you hope they learn?
Well, I think, you know, the big thing about this project is, one is that, you know, all of the black male images that normally are on television or in media have us being, you know, very misogynistic, always materialistic in so many ways. And I think what this story allows is you see the whole person. You see these characters that, you know, are vulnerable, that have desires, that have dreams. And I think that's really what I wanted to to make sure that we had a show that kind of represented that, like this whole landscape of what it is to be a black male in the world. You know, like it's not, we all ain't got chains. We all, you know, like ain't balling. Everybody not
I was like,
balling.
well, let me put this away.
But I mean, you know, the idea around it is that it was a really, you know, it's well thought out, and it's got a lot of heart to it, and it tells a real balanced story too. I don't think that we sacrifice the women in this story either, in order to tell this male side of the story. And so I think when people watch this, that's what I hope they embrace. I feel like it's great conversational television. People will look at this and want to have these conversations, like in their own friend groups. So that's what I really want to happen with the show.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Absolutely.
You know, black women, oh my God, like in this show are killing it,
Yes,
right?
they are.
Killing it, man. I mean, they're so strong. They have a very strong voice. And we made every effort not to go into it like, okay, this is how we think, this is what we want to say, and y'all are going to listen to us. Nah, this is a conversation. Yeah. You know, it's just, you know, men and women coming together and trying to figure this thing out, because there has been this disconnect, you know, as of late, you know, in the media with black men and black women. And so, you know, we want to address that on the show.
Definitely, because both of us, we're in the same situation. You know, we need each other equally, so we have to figure it out. And the way you do that is open the lines of communication. And this show is just giving a different perspective. It's not saying we're right. It's not saying what we're saying is the truth. It's just saying, maybe take a moment to see it from this perspective.
Right, it's a conversation starter.
That's it.
Now, Derrex, what do you hope people learn about Mr. Jarvis on Johnson?
I hope that they learn that I'm proud about who I am. I love my brotherhood. Jarvis is in an interracial marriage.
Yes.
So love is love, you know. But I feel like he still has his identity of who he is and where he comes from. And I hope that that is learned, that is seen in him.
What about you, Philip?
I hope that the audience starts to love the quirk of what a black man could be and is. I don't think that's seen as often, perhaps. And I just think it's a fun dynamic that gets to display like how we all interact, even though we're all so different. And that like the fact that I still have like a place with this group, not trying to fit some type.
Right. Now, in addition to having this black brotherhood on this show and this friendship, we have comedy. We have straight up comedy because we have Cedric The Entertainer and we have D.L. Hughley. Now, how much of this comedy was ad-libbed? How much of it was scripted? Because I know y'all were cutting up on set.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that was one of the key things too. I mean, Deji has a way of, you know, with the directing style. It's like, all right, cool. This the scene. This is what we trying to say. Let's maybe get the words once, and then, you know, hey, then do what you do, right? And I think, you know, when you trust people, I mean, you know, both DL, Earthquake's on the show as well. My character, you know, Quantavious is, you know. You kind of know that one Quantavious is just going to use it. I don't know how you even write for somebody named Quantavious. It's just, you just like, all right, and then Quantavious comes on the scene. You like, got it, you know. And so, but I do think that you have these kind of dramatic themes in life. There, you know, it truly is, you know, funny moments that we live like. And so, you know, I think all parties wanted that to happen. Bounce wanted that to happen as much as we were saying something, you know, really important. We love those moments where you decompress the whole scene with a good laugh or something funny or something you recognize. And so that's what we wanted to accomplish as well. So really proud of it.
Deji, if you could summarize Johnson in one word, what would it be? I'm putting you on the spot.
I will say the word will be yours.
Oh, I like that.
Was that
That boy
philosophical?
prolific.
You know what I'm saying?
boy-
Like,
That was deep. That was deep.
it's yours. Like, as the viewer, I think honestly, like, we've spent a lot of time with this.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, it's no longer ours. It's yours. You see what I'm saying? And so the audience now has it to watch as many times as they want, comment on it, critique, laugh, love, cry with it. So yeah, the word is yours.
Play
Come on now.
use that in life.
You know he created this.
I heard Grapevine, that's what happened. Thomas Q. Jones, fellow showrunner, I'm going to put you on the spot as well.
Uh-oh.
What is your one word, Craig Johnson?
One word. Enlightening.
Okay.
I think it's gonna really open a lot of conversation that's needed, that potentially couldn't be had because of all the barriers around just black men's voices, kind of some of the corporate heads that don't really think that our voice might matter in this capacity, and then also some of the social media that take something and they just dead it before it even gets a chance to even grow. So I think people are going to be enlightened by the conversations and actually seeing both sides equally in regards to men and women and our perspectives.
Johnson is yours, and Johnson is enlightening, and it is on Bounce. Thank you so much, Derrex Brady, Philip Smithey, Deji LaRay, Thomas Q. Jones, and Cedric The Entertainer for being my guests today. Make sure you tune in for more of Johnson.
We just had a premiere, fellas.
Still in the building?
We in the building.
Listen, you can tune in and watch all new episodes of Johnson on cable, satellite, or over the air. Find Bounce in your area by going to the URL right below.
Shine.